Oh, man. I'm kind of excited. Am I a fool?
Yeah.
Am I a fool?
You're a fool.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the pregame show.
Let's go, baby!
Brought it all the way. Nuggets in Charlotte to take on the Hornets. Short-handed, hoping for a bounce-back game against the East. We're going to break it all down. We got a good show for you. I'm going to talk some Thomas Bryant. I don't know about you fellas. Gotten into the Thomas Bryant film a little bit. Start going through the stats. Start going through the details. I got some things to report.
Sweet. Can't wait to hear it.
Talk a little Thomas Bryant, who is joining the team. We also have, I want to talk a little historical precedent and just talk about the trades that were happened. Is there precedent historically for teams trading for their best player and then winning it in that same year? We'll talk a little bit about that. What does that mean? Maybe we should pump the brakes a little on this Phoenix hype. Then, of course, no Dev today, but D-Line will make us all the money that Dev would have. And more.
Potentially.
I'll make you money.
All right, there you go. Over here, look at this. Wore his sandals again, but this time with socks, which I at least appreciate.
I figured that's a good Saturday balance.
It is.
I don't need sneakers, but I should at least
What
wear
is this
socks.
era we're in of yours? I don't understand this.
My Subaru era.
I missed the Top Gun era.
I
We need
know.
him to go
I
watch
missed
Top
the
Gun again.
1920s Great
Top
Gatsby
Gun?
era.
when the summer comes around, we'll
You'll be
go
back?
Top Gun. But it's
Alrighty.
Subaru season.
When is
fellas.
Gatsby coming back?
And then over here, hat backwards, feeling a Saturday vibe. It's Harrison.
Yeah, Saturday vibes, Saturday night at the DNVR bar. Excited to see what happens tonight.
And then tears in his eyes. We don't know why. It's D-Line.
It's not tear. I got ready moments before arriving.
Is
Is that shower?
sweat?
Is
Yeah.
that like fresh?
Yeah,
it
yeah.
hasn't even fully dried.
Yeah. You know, like when you first put fragrances and things on, you can still smell like the alcohol part.
Yeah.
Don't be confused. It's not alcohol. It's it's that I'm so freshly readied for the day.
Sweet.
Excited to have you ready. All right. Nuggets are in Charlotte. Charlotte's not very good. What can you tell us about this game, Wind?
Well, let's go over who's in and who's out first. The big news, Thomas Bryant is available. He did his physical in Denver yesterday.
Yeah.
Then went on a flight, joined the team this afternoon. Wasn't even at shoot-around, though. Michael Malone said pregame he literally landed, went to the hotel, dropped his bags off, then got on the bus to the arena. So I don't think it's a lock that he's going to play tonight, but he is in uniform. He is available if the Nuggets want to go to him.
Nuggets are too short-handed. Like, I get this idea of you just got in and this or that. Like, as long as it's not dangerous.
Well, with how bad the bench played 2 nights ago, I feel like we might see Thomas Bryant tonight.
And a quarter of his game is dunking the ball
Yeah.
anyway. So
Yeah.
What was the
Get out
Yoke
there.
last game? Like plus 9 or something like
Yeah.
that? And they, come on, man. Like, I hope he plays tonight.
Yeah, me too. I really hope he plays tonight. I hope we see him.
By the way, the physical thing, like, usually that's just the formality. You know,
Not
like, you gotta go through
anymore.
the physical.
Yeah.
Have you
These
guys seen
days.
this story? Have you seen this, Eric? The Golden State Warriors got bamboozled by the Portland Trailblazers. In all sincerity, this is actually how I would put it. The Blazers not disclosing that they're giving him those Toradol shots or whatever, and that he's playing through extreme discomfort before making a trade. I actually am surprised that there's not like something set for the NBA, like, oh, this is the penalty for doing such a thing.
Yeah.
How can you like, withhold that information?
because you can say that's what the physical is for, but this is still how their deadline went, was negotiating this deal.
Didn't this happen with Bol actually once?
Yes,
It's
with
exactly
Boston.
what
The
happened.
Nuggets did it as well.
Yeah,
so maybe
with the
all right.
Pistons.
Or
Yeah.
Pistons, yeah. Thank you.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Shameful. I will say this, though. Did you see that Gary Payton said that he wants out of the culture in Portland is
Yeah.
not
Oh
as
my
good?
Apparently, nobody likes playing in Portland.
A sneaky little
Except
thing.
Dame Lillard.
We're going to have to come back to it at some
likes it a
point.
little
We're
too
going to have
much.
to
Not
come back
available.
to that because that's a little thing. All right, let's
Yeah.
keep moving.
Some more notes. Jamal Murray is out tonight. He's going to miss his 4th straight game. Right knee inflammation. Malone said, look, we're just not going to put him out there until the knee, quote, calms down. I've got to think that we're not going to see him until after the All-Star break. I mean, if he's missed 4 in a row and it's still not where they want it to be. Yeah, just something to keep an eye on. Aaron Gordon, rib contusion, is also out. So is Zeke Naji with a shoulder sprain. So Nuggets are going to be shorthanded tonight, especially with the starting lineup. And that brings me to the starting lineup. Bruce Brown, KCP, Michael Porter Jr., Vlatko Čančar, Nikola Jokic.
So you guys heard when we went live before, when mics were on but video wasn't quite on yet, I was saying I'm excited. This is why. I'm actually, all right, let me start by saying this. It's clear the Nuggets don't care about these games. I mean, we were mad that the Nuggets never care about the emotion of the fan base. Like, trade deadline, Bones is gone. I'm not saying mad. I mean, none of us were mad. I'm just saying.
Eric was a little mad.
Oh, I'm still mad.
Eric was a little pissed off.
Nobody cared or thought that game had any, significance for, this or that. It's just the fan base was feeling a little blue because of Bones going, and it's like, warm us, make us happy.
Nikola Jokic isn't going to be like, man, those guys on the show, their vibes suck
They're
right now. I
Let me
need to
get the
bring up
fans
those
a win.
DNVR guys'
Yeah.
vibes.
The NBA players, they have higher goals, this or that. Fans live day to day. But I do think it feels a little bit like East Coast game. I mean, what do we care?
Sure.
Yeah.
Also, leading into the All-Star game, I break. I hate this about the NBA. It's always like, why do they even play these games?
Yeah.
Like, no, everyone's like, All-Star break's coming. Let's sit. Everyone. Who cares?
I mean, to be fair.
why are we here?
Those guys
Why
do
are you
need a
tuning in?
break.
What are we doing?
It's not even dumb. It is annoying, though. I'm with you. It is annoying. The NBA regular season product can be a little bit frustrating. And tonight's game might be a little bit like that. Unless, of course, we get a little Thomas Bryant. We get a little Thomas Bryant. I'm going to be pretty excited for it.
So here's what's going on with the Hornets. Brace yourselves. They've lost 6 in a row. They lost last night in Boston. They are 15-42 on the season. They're the worst team in the East. They have the worst offense in the NBA. They have the 25th ranked defense in the NBA.
Okay.
They traded away Mason Plumlee, their starting center. They're now starting rookie Mark Williams at the 5. They also traded away Jalen McDaniels. And, like I said, they're coming off a back-to-back.
They're going for Wemby.
Cody Martin's out. Kelly Oubre's out. They did get, funny enough, Reggie Jackson back in that Plumlee deal.
right.
The rumored Nuggets target for that last roster spot, but he's not with the team.
Rumored candidate, at least. Yeah, he's not going there. This really is Jokic is the ultimate. We're talking about, just give us something. Jokic's the ultimate. Oh, Mark Williams here. They got no bigs inside. Should he go for 50? Nah, he'll go for 12, 10, and 8.
How long can I go without shooting
5
it
shots
tonight?
out of Jokic.
Five shots tonight.
Yeah.
Am I going to dominate, put this one to bed? Nah, I'll just...
Nah.
Come on. It's almost the All-Star
This is a
break.
night when Bruce Brown can really get going.
I will say, though, this lineup with Vlatko in there, there's fewer creators than usual, but there's a lot of connectors. I mean, KCP's a great floor spacer connector. Bruce Brown's a great connector. Aaron Gordon keeps the ball popping, and Vlatko keeps the ball popping. If they make shots tonight, I just think the process is going to be great. And if they make shots tonight, it could be very beautiful basketball. That's why I'm excited.
My only note is I agree with you. Bruce Brown is going to need to step it up a little bit as primary ball handler. Such a great connecting piece, can be such a great complementary player. Jury's still out, though, as primary ball handler. At least last game was a little sloppy.
Is the jury even still out?
Or do we know?
I think we might know.
Jury's
Maybe
back
it's
in.
not.
Yeah, they do. The jury,
The jury is in.
Yeah, jury came back in.
So I think it starts with him. But outside of that, I agree. You've got a lot of guys that keep the ball moving. And so hopefully ball pops tonight for sure.
What would make this game a lot more fun, though, is, of course, getting to see the debut of Thomas Bryant, should he play. It does feel like it's a good spot if they start. I mean, one of the things, when you talk about a superstar's responsibility of Jokic, we're joking about he'll probably come out giving 50%. But one reason he should come out giving 100% right from the start, set a tone, is this could be a valuable practice game for Thomas Bryant and for the Nuggets second unit as a whole, just to say, hey, no stress. If a guy flew in from Denver today and is going to play, there's already a physical strain that is on you for this or that. Don't give it the emotional strain of hey, man, you got to make up 5 points because we totally were on our heels in that first quarter. We really need you to save us.
The ideal spot to debut, I feel like, is against a bad team.
Yeah.
When you don't have the pressure of the game is hanging in the balance.
Right.
You want Thomas Bryant debuting when you're up 20 points.
Or when Mark Williams is the starting center
Right.
and Kai Jones is out.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
there should be some.
Yeah.
Go to work, man.
Yeah,
go to
Kai
work, big
Jones,
fella.
what?
And guys, I got to say, like I said, over the last 48 hours or so, whatever it's been, starting to look at Thomas Bryant, talk to some people about him. I'm actually pretty excited for the signing.
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
I think this is a
Glad
pretty,
you came around.
a pretty transformational change to that second unit, which could be a problem. Anytime you bring in, I think Thomas Bryant is in line to be the second leading scorer of the bench unit. behind Jamal Murray. If you look at that and say Bruce Brown, Christian Brown, Zeke Naji, Bruce Brown maybe, but if you look at it just right now, he's averaging 20 points per 36 minutes with the Lakers. I'm using per 36 minutes because it's the bench, like everybody, so just to normalize for the minutes. He is a scorer.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's his number one trait, you would say, is that he is a scorer. And he has one Jokic characteristic. Insane touch. A lot of his shots are the Jokic type, like, they're not long flip shots, but they're like 5-foot flip shots or push shots. And he's absolutely money from that zone.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a great just addition to the second unit because they kind of need somebody who can just put the ball in the basket.
Totally.
Like that's what that second unit needs. And it's obviously not Bones anymore. Jamal Murray can do that some, but you just need a guy who is capable of doing that. Like, he can just finish inside. Like, he can just produce points.
Yeah.
That's just something you need to keep that second unit afloat.
D-Line, are you surprised at all to hear that he scores at the exact same rate as Aaron Gordon?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, like, yes,
or Michael
because
Porter.
it's insane, but no, because it's like he's an interior guy that dunks a lot, and we saw him do it against us. Like,
Yeah, we did.
We saw him score pretty easily and pretty frequently against the Denver Nuggets. Now, this is a signing I was excited from the get-go. Like, I really think it's cool. I mean, like, the one thing that they need is somebody to be able to get him the ball. It still doesn't help the problem with the bench. It's just nobody can create anything. So it's a lot of people that can finish.
To that point, I do think like tonight and the next, like Murray's out, but I do think long term that'll be Murray.
Right.
Yeah, Murray, or should they bring somebody else in? Like,
right.
But I do like the promise of having a interior presence that's more than just rebounding and more than just another steady player, like a little bit of fireworks on the second unit.
That's a good way to put it.
The ability to run a pick and roll that's serious, that the defense has to consider. And we probably, we won't see it tonight, but if Jamal is the stagger when he returns, like if Jamal's going to be on the floor, I think you want to give him a big that can set a pick and roll. So that's going to be a way they can unlock more out of him as well. So this should make the bench better. I like the all defense thing, but you got to have some pop. You got to have some identity in the half court as well.
Yeah,
and I don't know that it's going to be straight post-ups. Sorry, Eric, what was that?
I was going to say, like, that all defensive lineup did not work at all last time. Like the last game, like the bench being
that was a little bit of a different though. I will tell you,
there was no Zeke. Ironically,
yeah, but who was it?
Oh, that scored a lot.
No, that they replaced him with
Jeff,
who's an
Jeff.
offensive guy.
Yeah.
This is my point. Is that is not an all defensive guy. I mean, I'm just saying.
You're right.
So are we defining Jeff as an offensive player?
Look, man, that's why he's in
he's
that
a
second
player.
unit.
He's a player.
They run that little X out ISO for him like five times
They
per
love
game.
it.
They love to give him the little ISO post touch. Another thing you were talking about the pick and roll game, very good screener as well. And I think this is one of the things, like, Jokic is a very good screener in a different way, forces the defense to choose high or low and then reads all that. Thomas Bryant, I think, is going to be more of your, like, lays the woods type screener.
Well, he's
pick and roll.
a big dude.
Yeah, he's really
Thomas
big.
Bryant is like 6'10", 6'11", and built.
Right.
Like, he's a big boy.
Yeah. And then here's the thing, I think. Oh, two more things. One, 3-point attempts. He's shooting 44% this year. It's not on very high volume.
He's got a good-looking shot.
Not a bad-looking shot. And the thing is with the Lakers, he really wasn't taking very many. And you could tell that was by design. Like, that wasn't part of the offense. I'm curious to see how much the Nuggets give him the green light to take a few. He had 15 games this season in which he played minutes where he did not take a three. Mm-hmm. And then he had a bunch of another like 10 or so where he took one, which means there was 10 games or more where he took multiple threes. Usually if you make the first one, maybe he'd get a second one. I'm just curious. Michael Malone has typically allowed players to explore early, say like, do what you want to do, be comfortable, whatever. And if a guy's missing a bunch, then it's like, okay, we're going to try to get you to do different things. I'm a little curious just to see if he takes more threes with Denver, if he's out in that space, runs pick and pop. I mean, one of the things that's worked with the Nuggets has been pick and pop with their bigs. I'm just curious if that's an option.
I think we're going to see him shoot a bunch of threes, especially early. I bet Michael Malone has gone to him and been like, explore your game.
Let it fly.
Let it go. Like,
especially
if you're open, pop it,
Especially against Checks Notes, Mark Williams. Like, let's try that out. And then lastly, I have just heard super high character guy who's like about the right things. And, time will tell. This is a new guy into the culture or whatever. But I do think there's something to, I've been told that he is a learner. He is a guy that is like asking questions, trying to like figure out the game. He's not just a guy that's out there trying to just donk and practice and do this, that. Like he's trying to like learn what's going on. And I always think back, like, I think Jokic they're young players that have talent. I think they love coming to Jokic and being like, wow, I just get up close look at the most skilled big, the most clever big. And I think Thomas Bryant might be one of these guys that we just see a little bit. I'm not saying he's going to be throwing crazy passes, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see him, like, as this unfolds, pick up things. And you're kind of like, look at that, opening up a new avenue of his game, a little yoke to him.
Wow.
Running some elbow action or what have you.
What's going to be interesting is he reportedly wanted out of LA because he didn't think he was playing enough.
Right.
And I mean, I think he's going to get opportunities here in Denver. He's going to be the default backup center. It's not like he's going to be playing 25 minutes a night, though. So I'm curious to see how that kind of develops over the next couple months.
It's probably, though, easier to swallow not playing as much on a team that's successful.
Yeah.
Like on a team where it's like the whole season is defined by LeBron James's personal accolades, and you're like, what am I doing here? Like, Thomas Bryant is going to be immortalized as the guy that was actually open for a pretty even easier shot than LeBron.
You know who would have passed him that ball? Jokic.
That's so true.
He would have passed
Hey,
him that
actually,
ball.
one of the skills he's really good at is sealing high-low.
I saw. Yeah.
I'm serious. So like,
that was a great seal on that
on
play.
that play with LeBron, yeah.
He was wide open.
Wide open.
I don't know how much they'll play together, if at all, but you never know. Let's move on, though, guys. I want to talk a little bit, there's always the immediate reaction, the next day reaction, then there's the few days later reaction. And, of course, we're talking about this Phoenix Suns trade to get Kevin Durant. And the immediate reaction by everyone, including Las Vegas, is, oh, my God, the favorites, this or that. Look, they're still dangerous. But you start listening to all these different pods, doing a little bit of your own research. The historical precedent. The historical precedent for teams that made major trades that were title contenders, there's actually not a lot of track record. Now, for a couple reasons. One, it's not often that a player of Kevin Durant's caliber gets traded. Like, they just don't.
Generally
Generally
it's
speaking,
be
that
every
doesn't happen.
year with Kevin Durant now.
Right. Well, except for Kevin Durant twice, yeah. But, we can kind of go back and look. First of all, if you look at the top 20 players or so, which ones got traded, eventually, so Kareem got traded, ended up to go on to win with the Lakers. Wilt won with the Lakers. Oscar got traded to Milwaukee, won. Shaq got traded twice.
The player empowerment era really started way
back
then.
when. That's all the Lakers. Shaq got traded to the Lakers, won one.
This freaking league.
Moses Malone, only guy I think that got traded and then did not go on to win one. So, first of all, a player of that caliber getting traded likely, but does it happen in the year? If you go back, actually not. A lot of these trades had a decent first year. You can even think back to James Harden going to Brooklyn.
Carmelo Anthony.
But he didn't. It wasn't the same situation here.
Wasn't it?
No, because he went to a
Gutted
crap
a team he
Yeah,
went
he
to?
gutted it. It'd be like if they traded KD for Booker, Chris Paul, and Ayton instead. But whatever.
Two starters.
My point is, I think it's going to be different because the circumstance is very different. But part of me does look at this and go, basketball is more than just rolling the ball out for a bunch of guys. And that team does have a lot more. The longer you think about them, the longer you go, there's actually a lot of question marks there.
And who they shipped out were staples of the identity, which is worth underlining a couple times because it wasn't just Phoenix's talent when they were peaking out.
Love this.
They had their identity and they executed as well as anyone in the league. There's some shuffling there of the deck, and they're going to have to establish a new one. It's a good problem to have, figuring out how to acclimate Kevin Durant. But, think of the Heat team that didn't win the title their first year and lost to Boston in the season opener. Even that Warriors team that lost their season opener. Things take time, and sometimes it takes a whole season. It's different when that piece is Kevin Durant, who is this good. But yeah, man, it's not just about being the most talented team, especially when there are a couple of other teams around the league that identity and continuity and the sort of Spursian thing are what they have. So it's not the most super team we've seen, and they've got some work to do between now and June. They can't expect that title. They have to go work for it.
You're right about the identity, because to me it'd be like trading KCP and Aaron Gordon for Kevin Durant. You'd be like, oh my God, that's incredible. But what is now the culture of the team? Well, you still have Yoke, but you lost the guys that were the most plug in and do the dirty work. I think Phoenix has a similar thing, D-Line.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, it's the NBA on paper is so easy when you just like
Yeah, it really is.
add a bunch. You're like, oh, if we can just team up this guy and this guy. This happens every year. Like, if we can just team up Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, like the West is going to be trembling. If we can just team up Kevin Durant and James Harden and Kyrie Irving, that's a guaranteed title. The one thing that gives me a little pause and makes me nervous is that Kevin Durant and Booker have history playing together on the Olympic team. They have on the U.S. Team, so they do have familiarity with each other. So I imagine they will have like a pretty good relationship. I don't. The bench obviously is a major question mark for them. I expect that they'll add from the buyout market as well. I probably would look at like Terrence Ross and a couple other guys to maybe go there.
I mean, Terrence Ross.
Terrence Ross is not, for the longest time we compared him favorably to Will Barton. Like he can score. He's a scorer.
They might get Will Barton.
I'm just saying, like, as currently constructed, I don't think that I do think that there's too many holes, especially when you're talking about the one thing the Denver Nuggets have that is unimpugnable and can't be purchased, which is chemistry and balance and cohesion. All of that can be gained, but it can't be purchased. And do they have enough time to find it? That remains to be seen.
Really great take. Yeah. All right. That's it. I just wanted to look at the historical precedent. And then there was a great thing that you're looking at Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris got traded to Philly in 2019. That was a big trade. If you remember, like putting Jimmy Butler with Joel Embiid, it's like, oh my God, this could be huge. You know, that obviously went to the second round. James Harden going to the Nets and also to the 76ers. Weirdly, that recent historical precedent twice includes James Harden and or the 76ers.
So weird. I wonder what that's about.
I wonder what is.
I wonder if there's something about guys that are terrible teammates going to new teams.
Drew Holiday is the only one I can remember recently that was like.
But that was off season.
Oh, that was off season?
Yeah, that was an off season trade.
Oh, okay.
So that's the thing, is being able to go through training camp. I mean, somebody in the article, he even used Allen Iverson, who was traded on game number 3, but it still was after training camp. Like, you still are done practicing by the time he arrived. So I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, there's really just been one super team I feel like that has lived up to expectations ever.
The Warriors?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah,
but the
Heat are the next one. But I mean, 2 titles in 4 years was probably
it took them a while.
The minimum that you thought they would get.
That totally felt like the minimum.
Not one, not 2, but just
the
2.
Warriors.
Just
That's
only
really
2.
it.
Yeah,
right.
no, it generally takes time, and the Warriors were already a super team through being built the correct way, and then just adding on top, and they didn't lose anybody to acquire Kevin Durant. So
it'd be like if the Nuggets right now added Kevin Durant without losing anything. You're like,
exactly,
I think we're better.
Exactly. And we're like, oh, well, guess what, MPJ, you're off on the bench.
You're the
and
sixth
now our
man.
bench cannot be defeated.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, let's open up the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now, and let's see if
Make us some money,
Eric knows what he's talking about.
Well, listen, I mean, do any of us know what we're talking about when it comes to the NBA right before the All-Star break?
Yeah.
No, we do not. But let's give it our best shot.
I'm taking Thomas Bryant points.
So
to put on the board.
all of the Nuggets just became available. They
Michael
were not
Malone's
previously
like,
available.
I don't know if he's going to play. He plays 25 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
So I
That's
feel
what's happening.
Here are things that I feel like are going to be true. I feel like Nikola Jokic is going to be forced to score.
Oh, poor guy.
I know this. I hate this for him, but unfortunately,
Just sad the whole night.
It's like me. I was forced to come onto this show today.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's so
want to.
true.
I would have happily stayed unshowered, but here I am. His points are set at 28.5, which is pretty high. But we saw him do it last time. I actually feel good about it, just because there aren't a lot of other scorers. I feel like that's something we're going to have to go to. But I am taking Nikola Jokic under 7.5 points in the first quarter. I see another slow start. I see another slow start for Nikola Jokic. He doesn't want to, but it's going to become abundantly apparent at a certain point that he has to, unfortunately, and Jokic, I know that you're watching, unfortunately, you're going to have to be the best player in the world from time to time. My apologies.
Man, that's a tough break for Jokic.
It is tough. To that end, however, as Adam mentioned right before showtime, this is a very vibey starting lineup, and we do like the assists coming off of Nikola Jokic. We like Jokic getting his buddy Vlatko involved. We like Jokic getting all of the players involved. So 10.5 assists feels like child's play for Nikola Jokic these days, and you just get it every time. You bet it every time. I like that.
I love that one. That's my personal lock.
Yeah. And in the same line of thinking with Nikola Jokic getting under 7.5 points in the first quarter. I like him to get over 3.5 assists in the first quarter.
Man, this is fun. I'm into it.
Let's go. These are great. So those are my straight up bets, and then I put together a same game parlay that I've already put into the system. My same game parlay has Jokic points a little lower, over 26.5 points. And my new way that I've discovered to break the matrix, I understand the matrix so clearly now after seeing how Nikola Jokic is being scored. I am taking a Nikola Jokic block every night now. A Nikola Jokic block does not look like another center block. It looks like him knocking the ball out of somebody's hands.
It looks like a steal.
To the uninitiated, you would think is a steal. But in Nikola Jokic's case, they realize that's the way that he blocks. It's much like me. You don't realize that I'm giving you love, but it is love. It's my version of love. So I take one block from Nikola Jokic, 2 Michael Porter Jr. threes. That seems like child's play. And then over 9.5 Nikola Jokic assists. That gives us plus 300 odds. Lock it in. Let's take the cash and run. And let's get into All-Star break healthy, shall we?
Can you tell me how's Michael Porter tonight?
What do you mean? Like how
is he going to go off? Is he going to make his shot?
See, I think he's not happy about the way the last game went. How could you be? It was a terrible display, but he didn't not shoot. He shot a lot.
Okay.
So the question is his shot irreparably broken because he's sad about Bones? Look at me. I got a smile on my face. I'm sad about Bones, but I'm doing my goddamn job. So I think that Michael Porter Jr. is going to shoot the ball. So I think that for me, 2+ 3-pointers seems like a given, and then I do think we're going to have a bit of a Porter quarter at some point.
Ooh.
I like it.
That's what I think.
You know what? I like it. I'm with you.
All right, let's go.
A little Porter quarter. Hopefully it happens early. All right, that does it for the show, guys. Let's go watch the Thomas Bryant debut. Oh, we have 2 Super Chats. Let's get to them.
What a bunch of sickos.
Somebody read these for me.
Francisco says, think a vengeance tour in the playoffs. First round, Golden State,
4-1. Love it.
Second round, Phoenix.
Sweet.
Third
Nuts
round,
and
Lakers,
4?
4-1.
Nuts
Finals,
and 4?
7-game series versus the 76ers. Epic and life-threatening. DNVR diehard here. LFG.
A
Dude.
finals against the 76ers would be life-threatening.
If the playoffs play out in this exact way that you've described, I will reward all of the internet by taking my life live on the internet as I've hit the apex and nothing else. Like it'll be tasteful.
There's always a little,
but I'm just saying, like,
Beautiful death.
It's that, like, I'm like, wow. How could life get any better than it is right now? I noticed we got a few likes as soon as I said that.
John D. Rocky chiming in to say, praying for immaculate vibes post game. Let's go.
Me too, John.
We need these.
All right, everybody. Hit that like button on the way out. We'll see you after the game.